So I haven't played Duels in literally years. I normally play Dominion, and I kind of just wanted to try out Duels and see how I fare up against, I don't know, anybody, I guess. I believe the MMR is pretty low, but let's see how I actually do. Hmm. Now, I play Valkyrie very conservatively, usually at first. I don't like to be too aggressive. It doesn't tend to work when people dodge attack all the time. It's not an optimal punish at all, but I have a feeling this Kensei is not that great, so I'm just trying some stuff out to see what spooks them.
Round two.
But yes, my MMR is actually pretty low. I don't think I've seriously considered duels in about 8 years, roughly since the game came out. Yeah. Valkyrie is all about trial and error with some opponents. Usually they fall for pretty much everything, or they stare at you, and if they stare at you too much, that's when things get a little challenging.
Victory.
Either way, I'd say lower MMR players get scared a little bit easier. Valkyrie's offense tends to spook a lot of newer players. Against experienced people, they tend to actually go for those mid-chain guard breaks against Valkyrie. This is a rep 80 Kensei, mind you. Oh, no wall, that's a shame. Yeah. Now, I do like to go for wall splats when they're low on stamina because there is stamina damage. She should have thrown them there, but it's no big deal. That's the first round down, or match. Let's find another one.
Round one.
Peacekeeper is actually a fine duelist in For Honor. I'm just gonna, again, play very conservatively at first and see what actually works. I make some aggressive reads typically in the beginning. That's probably not a smart thing to do, but yeah. Okay, guard break right after bleed. Lets the zone go. That's my problem in duels. I never respect offense right off the bat. That was a nice delayed forward dodge. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, it doesn't look like this player is actually falling for any of the pressure from the dash or the full guard, so I'm going to have to let those go. It's going to be hard to get any deflex if this Peacekeeper doesn't actually do any dodge attacks, and they're actually playing conservative as well, so I need to find out what this player's ideas are. Yeah, I need to be more aggressive though. Yeah, I gotta stop with some of these aggressive reads. I keep thinking most... Okay. Looks like she likes to go for guard breaks every time she gets bleed on an opponent. Again, tried to finish me off with that. I'm afraid not.
Victory.
I'm also not the kind of player to do executions until the last round of the match. It's just a waste of time in my opinion. This is kind of why I never found duels so stimulating. I always lose and some jerk would play or do a very long execution. It just kind of ruined the experience for me. It just wastes time. It's not like Dominion where it makes a little bit more sense, but yeah. I'm just really trying to experiment with what works against some players and what doesn't. I mean, duels are a lot different than Dominion. Not a lot of time in Dominion, but okay. This is what I want when I get players to actually play my game and run into my defensive tools. That's when things start to go in Valkyrie's favor. But if you need to rely on Valkyrie's offense, it gets a lot more challenging, especially when they don't actually respond to any of your full guard pressure. That's not a good idea for duels. You don't just start off with that. This is typically why I like to feint. Second part, you know, any chain stuff, I just feint. Because random dodge attacks upset me, but finished them off with some interesting feint game there. Sometimes stuff like that works, but let's move on to the next one. Alright, a Varangian Guard, another difficult character to fight in my opinion. Should be a little easier now that they've been nerfed. Those neutral enhanced lights were pretty oppressive. Made getting to those unblockable finishers a little too easy in my opinion. That just isn't fun for anybody, especially in Dominion, but duels I suppose it's pretty annoying. They still like to go for those neutral lights a lot, so I'm going to take advantage of that.
Round 2.
The interesting thing with Valkyrie is she does have a very flexible set of defensive tools, but it just depends on if you can get your opponents to play into all of that. And the important thing, nice max wall splat punch there, okay. The important thing with Valkyrie is to try and mix all of it up so that you can keep the opponent guessing, not know what defensive option you're going to choose, and can actually keep you a little bit safer if you're very good with how you use those defensive tools. Okay. This Varangian Guard's actually learning a little bit, so going for those guard breaks, going for crushing counters. You can tell they're a little bit nervous because they don't want to hit the full guard at all, so
Round 3.
I can tell the Varangian Guard is a little bit nervous here. Again, I do a lot of funky conservative things with Valkyrie. Okay. Yep. Valkyrie's full guard tech is, in my opinion, one of her best tools and qualities, because being able to keep them in regular heavy hits done from pretty much any attack that hits the full guard is pretty dang good. There are some attacks you can't get that off on. One would be Valkyrie's neutral lights, believe it or not, and Valkyrie's Nobushi's ranged stabs. But that's it for the Varangian Guard. Let's move on to the next one. Finishing off with the Shaman. I think I've fought this person a good few times already. They're not bad, but they are kind of strange. Oof. A lot of people also don't expect, well, I suppose they can. They don't expect that second part of the zone. That typically lands if they just go for that guard break, but it is a pretty safe tool. Okay. They are doing those feints to lights opposite side a lot. I'll try and keep that in mind. It's kind of funny. Players tend to stab themselves in the foot by doing the same thing over and over again, and if you punish it right off the bat, and they keep doing it without adapting, it's just funny, you know. again, I haven't played Duels in years, so my MMR is very low. But sometimes players will pull some sneaky stuff like that delayed dodge attack. That wasn't bad. Didn't expect that. Not responding at all. Okay. That was actually a good guard break. I'm sure they probably reacted to me going into this stance, but were late, but I didn't react quick enough. Yeah, I really love that combo right there. Double heavy, feint the third heavy, into a zone, into full guard, into guard break. That's just a nasty combination for a lot of players. It's just a bombardment of chip damage, and it spooks players since it's so many attacks. Obviously, better players would probably do something like a guard break if they see that, but there's so much going on with all this chip damage that it tends to spook some players. Okay. This is an opponent where my lights are not effective, so it makes things incredibly difficult mid-chain, or even just with neutral lights. Out of my heavy, not bad. So she is reacting to me going into my full guard. I'm just being silly and not counter guard breaking, or I'm getting caught out of neutral heavies, so I need to keep that in mind. She's actually attempting those guard breaks.
Round 4.
With Shaman, it can take just one bad read to have a bad day, and if you lose your focus for just a smidge, she is delaying her dodge attacks, so I need to be very patient. She's catching me out of my heavies too, so I need to play very mindfully against her. She's delaying her dodge attacks. That was a delayed one there too. I gotta be... There we go. Okay, the lights are not working, but she keeps trying to go into a bash pressure every time she's in frame advantage, so I can just... Goodness sakes. Just one, again, just one bad read, and it can swing the fight just like that. I could have blocked those lights, but when you don't expect something,
Round 5.
and then it happens, sometimes you just get overwhelmed, and that's typically how I respond to things. It's kind of tough sometimes. If things don't go in my favor right away, I get spooked. Oh, you like games? I can play that game as well. Okay. Okay, you fell pretty much into every single thing there. Yep, ended off with crushing counter. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and comment if you want. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.